I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and this is my top 10 video for 6-year-olds. All of the games on this list say ages 6 and up on the box, so your 6-year-old should be successful at any of the games on this list. There's no reading required to play any of these games, just for reading the rules and learning how to play the first time through. But after that, your child should be able to play independently or with a friend or sibling with no problem. I have all the games listed in the description of the video along with the timestamp if you want to skip to a particular one. I have them arranged from like the universal favorites or towards the beginning, then games with specific themes that kids enjoy, and then I end on a game for your future game nerd if you are raising one, and it is quilting themed and it is fabulous. So let's get started. First up, we have Buggaloop and Bugs in the Kitchen. These are two different games that they are both Hexbug, like Playdate level games, so I put them here together. Buggaloop is a game where you are trying to get your bug tokens from one side of the board across like a pathway to the other side while this Hexbug is going around in loops, and it actually goes underneath the board and comes around on the other side. And so while it's underneath the board is while all the action is going. Each player is taking turns rolling the die and moving their little bug tokens as many spots as the die roll is. And then you keep on going until the Hexbug reappears. And when it comes out, everybody stops and you just wait and hope that the Hexbug doesn't knock one of your bugs off of a spot on the path, because then it gets sent back to the beginning. And just the game ends when somebody's gotten all of their bugs over to the other side. This game, I cannot describe the screams of glee that my children had the first time that they played it. It's a favorite to pull out at playdates, and it's one of those games where there's minimal skill involved, and a 4-year-old is on pretty equal footing with like a 12-year-old. So ideal for mixed age groups, and kids lose their minds over this. Bugs in the Kitchen is very similar, but it still uses a hex bug, but you were trying to trap the bug in one of your spots on the board, on the side. And it's moving through a maze, and on your turn you get to roll a die, and you get to rotate either a fork, spoon, or knife on the board and to try to direct the hexbug to where you want it to go. So it just depends on what your favorite kind of hexbug gameplay is. Pick one. Kids are sure to be out of their minds excited. Just know that if they do love it, you will end up going through a fair amount of batteries, so plan accordingly. Next up, we have Cauldron Quest, which is a cooperative game in which you are trying to get the correct 3 potion bottles that match the ingredients that are randomly selected at the beginning of the game. You place them in the center of the board, trying to get the correct potion bottles in the middle before the evil wizard puts path blockers on all of the 6 paths leading to the center. This game has dice rolls with interesting dice that don't just have numbers on it, that allow either one dice combination makes the wizard move around in the circle, and you have to watch out for him. There's a dice roll that places path blockers, and then if you get the best dice roll, then you get to roll the magic dice, which are numbered dice, and they allow you to do things like reveal the potion bottles. They're all a secret at the beginning, so you don't even know which ones you're moving along. So there's secrecy. You get to reveal the hidden secrets. Some of them allow you to swap the potion bottles to make it so if one is on a path that's blocked, you can still get it up to the center. And another one, if you roll the magic number, which is 12, then that is like a secret spell, and it allows you to go past path blockers, and you get to move 6 spots, which is a big deal. So I love this game because it sounds like there's a lot going on, but it's all very simple and easy to pick up. After you've played it once, you're good to go. I love this game because this is one of the first games that my children were able to play together as a group without me, with great success and without any fights, because it is cooperative and because it's engaging and interesting, but it's simple. when it comes down to it. It's pretty clear what you do for each of the dice rolls, and then the decisions you make when you're rolling the magic dice. You can talk about it as a group. So it worked really well for my family. We played this all the time. And it is a kind of a unique concept and idea. The theme seemed to work really well for boys and girls. Everybody likes magic. And it's been great to play with my parents. And I actually really enjoy playing with them. It's nice to have games that I'm excited to sit down and play with them. So this has been a win on so many levels. And we've had it for a few years. And we played it a ton when my kids were ages 5, 7, and 8. They could all successfully play it together without me. And my daughter, who's 8, just got it out the other weekend for game time with grandparents. So it just keeps on coming back, and we love it. Next up, we have Gnomes at Night. It is a cooperative speed game where you are working together with a board set up in between you. Think kind of like Battleship. You are on either, there's a board in the middle, and you put a magnetic gnome on either side. They're connected, and you are working together to try to collect all of the treasures. So you flip over a card, and you have to work together to get that spot on the board. The trick is there's a path on each side of the board, and they're different depending on which side you look at. And so you go through and try to get, so if you're up in this corner and you're trying to get down here to where the treasure is, you're navigating through and you might get to a dead end on this side. But the person on the other side has a way where they can go up and around and get down to it. So you kind of take turns moving the gnomes around, and if you're good, you'll get to, oh, okay, I remember at this spot, they take over and they can go over here. So there's some memory involved too if you really want to be successful. And they have 4 different boards, so you can scale the difficulty level to what is correct for your audience. They're at level A is simpler, and there's bigger paths, and it's easier to go through. It's A, B, C, or D. Board D has smaller paths, and it's much more of a labyrinth, and is a little bit trickier to get through. But it's really fun. There aren't a lot of cooperative speed games for kids out there, and this is a great one, and it's based on, it's a reprint of an older game with aliens called Mino and Tori. So if you really liked that one, this is that, but with gnomes. Next up, we have Rat-a-Tat Cat and Rat-a-Tat Roll, 2 separate games. Rat-a-Tat Cat is your more entry-level version to start with if you want to play with your child. And it's very simple. The goal of the game is to end with the least points. Everybody starts with 4 cards face down in front of them. You don't get to look at the cards. And over the course of the game, you draw a card and you get to decide if you want to exchange it with one of your face down cards or discard it, depending on what the value of the card is. They're between 0 to 9. The kitty cards are the low numbers, and the bad rat cards are the high numbers. You want the cute kitty cards. And then you win the game. There are some power cards that add a little fun to the game. There's a peek where you can look at either one of your own cards or somebody else's cards, see what it is. A swap card, you can trade with somebody, or a draw 2 that lets you just draw an extra card when you're getting a new one. So very simple. Theme is on point. Very fun to play. And then if you get this and really enjoy this, I highly encourage you to get Rat-a-Tat Roll. It is very true to Rat-a-Tat Cat, but it's pretty new, and I really enjoy it. You are rolling a die. You have more decision-making powers in this game. It's kind of more of a like full-fledged board game. You have more decision-making powers. They have a lot of the same cards, but there's hot air balloons that allow you to have re-rolls. There's some more there's a specialty dice that allows you to pick a card or swap a card with somebody. It feels like you have more control. And in Rat-a-Tat Cat, the game just ends when somebody says Rat-a-Tat Cat, and you all compare your hands. And Rat-a-Tat Roll, you start out with just 1 card each, and then you add, everybody keeps on collecting cards, and the game ends when, depending on how many people you have, if it's 2 players, the game ends when each player has 5 cards. If it's 3 or more, then the game ends when you have 4 cards. And then you compare, and whoever has the lowest point value is the winner. This is great for early math skills for kids, and it's great for some entry-level board game strategy and skill. And kids love these games because, especially Rat-a-Tat Cat, is very heavily memory dependent. And kids just win at memory games against adults. So your child will do well at you at this game, legitimately well against you without you having to try to make it easier on them. So they will enjoy it. And your kids, these are classics for a reason, and your child will enjoy these games. Next up, we have Slamwich. It is a speed game by Gamewright. They are also the creators of Rat-a-Tat Cat and Rat-a-Tat Roll. If you need a young family game, Gamewright is an amazing company, and you should check out one of their many offerings. Slamwich has been a favorite in our house for years. In this game, you are trying to be the first to collect all of the cards. Everybody starts with an even number of cards. You flip them out, and then they're all ingredient cards for sandwiches. So if you flip out 2 lettuce cards in a row, then whoever slaps on it first gets to collect the cards. If there's a sandwich of cards out there, so you have a lettuce and then a cheese and then another lettuce, you slap on that and collect, and be the first to slap on it and collect them. But then they also have specialty cards. They have a sandwich thief, and you have to slap on it and say "Stop Thief" in order to collect the cards. And they have muncher cards, which are a fun element. If you play out a muncher card, there are 3 different ones you can put out. They either have a 3, a 2, or a 1 on them, and that's how many cards the next person gets to lay out. And if nothing happens, there's not anything to slap on, then the person just collects all of the cards that are in the middle and puts them on the bottom of their stack. But if they put out something that can be slapped on there, if they make another sandwich, then you slap on the cards, and whoever got it first gets to collect them. So it's very simple. Kids love speed games, and this one is just on point, super fun, holds up. And they need a good speed game in their life. So check this one out. Next up, we have Yamslam. It is basically updated Yahtzee, I like to call it. It's the same general premise. You get to roll the dice 3 times, save dice that you want to keep as you go for different combinations. But in this version, you are going for poker chip type pieces, and they're all communal. Anyone can collect on your turn. You can collect any of the remaining poker chips out there. So the strategy is a little different than a game like Yahtzee. And I love in this game, you are always rewarded for the best of the rolls. In this, instead of calling it a Yahtzee, when you get all of the same number, it's called a Yamslam. And no matter what's gone on in the game, you get to collect the highest value chip that is left, and you get an additional turn, which is fabulous. You kind of feel more rewarded as you play. All of your rolls, you have a little more strategy that you're able to employ. There are different bonuses for getting, if you get one of every kind of chip, if you get all in a stack of chips, if you collect the last chip, there's a few little bonuses. But it's so easy to get up and running. We took this to an event where we were waiting to compete in the morning with a group of kids, and we just kind of handed it to them and said, "Oh, this is a fun game. If you have a choice, I really like the version of the game that's self-contained, and if you open it up and all the poker chips are already in their spot, and there's a felt-lined board to roll the dice in, which is really nice. But we just kind of handed it to them and said, "Oh, you should play this game." And they were able to pick it up and go pretty much with little to no instruction. It's very intuitive, and it's fun. It's one of those games, too, great for 6-year-olds, but it's great for parents or grandparents to play with the kids as well. So it's great. It has a very universal appeal, very intuitive to learn, and just very fun to play. Next up, we have story cubes. And I have such a soft spot for story cubes. It is so fun. Is it a game or is it an experience? It is fabulous, whatever it is. You are given, you just have 9 dice. that have different pictures on each of the different faces of the dice. So 54 different pictures. But you roll the dice and you tell a story. With 9 dice with different images on each one, it's more than 10 million different dice combinations you can get. So it is unlimited pictures and different stories that can be told with the pictures. And you want your 6-year-olds telling you stories. It is so good for them to be creative. It is not a competitive game. It is just for fun. You can work together to tell the stories. You can let your child roll the dice and tell a part of the story, and then you can roll the dice and continue the story. It is very open-ended, and it is fabulous. My daughter and I love these dice, and we'll bring them with us on coffee dates together and roll the dice and tell each other stories while we sit there and have some delicious breakfast treats together. They have a bunch of different versions. We have the original, and I just got my daughter the Mysteries version for Christmas, so she's been really excited about that. But there's also Voyage dice, Actions, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Looney Tunes. So there's a bunch of different options out there, but they're pretty amazing. And I'd say you can really, it's open-ended too for what ages you can use these for. I would have loved to have these when my younger son was 2 and demanded unique new stories that I would invent for him before his nap every day. If I had been able to roll the dice as a prompt to get started, that would have been really helpful. And they're very compact. They're easy to take along with you. If you want to have screen-free time in a restaurant but need kind of something to guide you, they're a really easy thing to bring along. Roll the dice and take some time telling family stories before the food shows up. So they're very versatile, very fun, and you can't go wrong because it is so open-ended, and whatever you like is how you can use them. Next up, we have Ticket to Ride First Journey. It is exciting when you start getting to be able to have your kids play these type of games. Ticket to Ride is wildly popular, fabulous adults game, and it's nice to have a child-friendly introduction to get them started. This is scaled exactly correctly for this age of kids so they can be successful and be able to be on equal footing with other people who play. And it's just a lot of fun. The goal of this game is to be the first to collect 6 of the ticket cards. And you do that by claiming routes. You start and you have a specific color of train that you're going to be placing on the board. You have 4 cards in your hand that are different colored trains, and you are going to draw on your turn, either draw cards or claim a route. And all it means to claim a route is you play down cards that match the color on that route, and you place a couple trains on there. So it's really easy to get up and running. Even if you haven't played any regular Ticket to Ride, you will love it after playing this because it is simple. It's such a fun game concept, and it is so fun. And they have 2 different versions. There's Ticket to Ride North America or Ticket to Ride Europe if you want to be fancy. But it's great for teaching kids some basic geography as well. And they do have the names written on the cards, but you don't have to be able to read to do this. They have pictures as well, so you can just connect this picture to this picture using these colored cards and placing your trains. So it is fabulous. Even younger kids, if you have them on a team with you, they can get the basics down and do pretty well. So it works really well. Kids love playing at it, and they can be very successful. Next up, we have Catan Junior. It is a pirate-themed version of Settlers of Catan, scaled down to a 6-year-old level, and I have to say, my 6-year-old is a terror at this game. We are all afraid of playing it with him because he wins every time, and he loves it so much. I love this game because theme, great. Settlers of Catan, a well-loved game that takes a while, and this has stripped it down so it still has the same feel, but in much less time, a little more simple. You are trying to be the first to be able to build all of your pirate lairs. And So you're doing the same thing. You are rolling a die. There's just one die. So all of the things with like, oh, the different probability levels of collecting resources on different spots on the board, it's all the same with your one die. And so you get to collect resources and buy pirate ships and pirate lairs. And there's even a Coco the Parrot, which are like specialty cards that allow you to get extra resources or do additional things. If you have the most Coco the Parrot cards, you get to place a pirate lair on a spooky island in the middle of the board, so that can be really strategic and fun. And I really like in this game, they have mitigated much of the angst factor that could come along with a Settlers of Catan type game, because they still have, in Settlers, you move a thief onto a spot and you get to steal a resource from the person there. In this, you're moving a ghost pirate and you can move it onto an island, and then you get to collect 2 of that resource from that island from the bank into your hand, and you don't actually take what other people have already collected. And you've blocked that from them until somebody else has rolled the ghost pirate, but it's just a little less invasive. You still are having something good happen to you and something bad happen to them, but it's not quite as bad. And so people seem to do better here, and it's a lot more even. Even in a game where somebody's doing really, really well, it's over so quickly that it's pretty easy to say, oh yeah, Patrick had another great game. Well, let's set up and see if we could finally get him this time. So it is just many, many gold stars. It has been a hit for our family and really any other family that I've talked to that has played it. So it is fabulous and you should check it out. And finally, we have Patchwork Express. This is a legit game. This is a quilting themed game by acclaimed game designer Uwe Rosenberg, who does a lot of intense, hard-hitting games. And this is one of his easier ones he has given to the masses, and we are very grateful because it is very good. Regular Patchwork, very popular. There's a bunch of different versions out there. And I really like that they have Patchwork Express because it's all of the glory of regular Patchwork, but it's just a slightly smaller board. And what you're trying to do is you have a 7x7 quilt board, you and an opponent. It's a 2-player game. And you are trying to fill your board as complete as possible with all these little patches that you are purchasing around the game board, where you and your opponent are taking turns moving tokens along and collecting buttons using those to buy patches. It is and what's different also with this one from regular Patchwork is that it's a little more forgiving towards the end. In this one, you have some special patches that blue patches that you pull off to the side. And then when you get down to, there's just a few left, a certain number left in the center, you get to pull out those little blue patches and put them in. And they're all nice and little and just the right size to fit in to the other spots of your quilt. They're polyomino, like Tetrisy type pieces that your quilt patches, and you're trying to fit them in on the board. And I have to say, as somebody who played a lot of Tetris growing up, there's just something so rewarding that it feels so good to fit it together just right and put it together. Your quilt is new and fun and interesting looking every time. And yes, this is ages 6 and up. You can, and I have played this with kids that age, and they can be successful, but it is fully an adult game as well. So you can play it with adults and not say, oh, I'm playing this kiddie game. As much as I like Catan Junior and my first Ticket to Ride, you can't bring games like that to an adult game night. But this one you can. Patchwork Express, and hopefully your child likes this because there's a lot in here that a 6-year-old can manage, but a lot of just really amazing game concepts where hopefully you see the wheels turning and them starting to work on some different levels of strategy, because there's a lot going on with filling in your board, strategically moving your person along, deciding which patches to collect. So it's a lot for a 6-year-old, but they can do it. You can help them, and you can have a fabulous time playing this great game together. So that's it for my top 10 games for 6-year-olds. It is such a great age and there are so many spectacular game options. So I hope you found one that you're excited to try out, and I'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.